Good morning and welcome to this live Christmas edition of your popular weekly magazine programme. And as usual, I'll be exciting you, I'll be stimulating you as I go up your alley. Up your alley. This morning we have a live exclusive interview with the 1970s punk rock singer Rhombic Leatherbug. Born in 1953 to Gladys and George Leatherbug, Rhombic was an unprepossessing child until, at the age of 13, he was given a guitar. He did admittedly use it as a cricket bat, but at the age of 14 they gave him another guitar, and this time he learned to play it properly. And the rest, as they say, is his story. History! The rest, as they say, is history. At the age of 17, he had a minor hit with I Kicked Him in the Head, which we'll be hearing later. And then 2 years later, the surprise mega hit, the unforgettable, The Rules of Nature. A year after that, he had to retire from public life due to an unforeseen badger-related incident. And then, in 1974, he died. Or did he? We here at Up Your Alley. We heard of some strange goings-on in the wilds of the Suffolk countryside at the Sid Vicious Sanatorium for retired punk rockers. We sent down a roving reporter who discovered that, yes, some wildlife had been attacked with rhyming garden implements. This made us rather suspicious, and we looked into it, and sure enough, in the restroom of the sanatorium, in the corner, sitting there, large as life and twice as bonkers, was Rhombic Leatherbug. What was it all about? We learnt he'd faked his own death. Why did he do that? What was it like being a 1970s punk rocker, albeit briefly? And what was the badger-related incident that made him curtail his promising career so early? We will have the answers to these questions and more as we go probing up your alley. As we go probing up your alley. So anyway, up your alley. We'll carry on with first hearing the popular, unforgettable Rules of Nature. Rules of Nature. Here it is. You stupid!
If you see a fox, don't put it in a box. If you see a deer, don't poke it in the ear. If you see a dog, don't hit it with a log. Yes, these are the rules of nature. These are the rules of nature. If you see a bug, it doesn't want a hug. If you see a bat, don't feed it to the cat. If you see a little goat, don't grab it by its furry throat. Yes, these are the rules of nature. These are the rules of nature. If you're walking in the woods, don't trample on the flowers, or the trees will get you with their supersonic powers. Gnarly twigs reach out for you, grab your arms and both legs too, pull you up into the sky, hear you scream and watch you die. These are the rules of nature. These are the rules of nature. If you see a tiny snail, don't squash it with a metal rail. If you see a baby coot, don't crush it with your hobnail boot. If you see a thrush, don't grind it into gooey mush. Yes, these are the rules of nature. These are the rules of nature. If you see a hare, don't hit it with a chair. If you see a rabbit, you mustn't try and grab it. If you see a hog, don't try and drown it in a bog. Yes, these are the rules of nature. These are the rules of nature. These are the rules of nature. Yes, these are the rules. Got it?
Amazing. So, now we go somewhere in Suffolk, live, to Rhombic Leatherbug. Hello, Rhombic. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us. It must be strange after all this time to talk about the old days.
Yeah, hello, thank you for inviting me on. Yeah, it was, you can't see me, I'm afraid, because I've got hideous injuries from the badger-related incident that ended my career, and so I'd rather not be seen. So yeah, it was heady times, as they say, because I was really big for a while. We got a lot of publicity when that DJ bloke Tony Blackburn, he refused to play our song because he said it was gonna influence young kids to hit animals with furniture. Well, he missed the point, didn't he? Because it's a really deep song. Like you got a fox, right? And if you put it in a box, right? What have you got? It's deep, isn't it? You got a fox in a box, haven't you? Well, yeah. Next question.
Yes, indeed. So, for a while, Rhombic, you lived the rock and roll lifestyle.
The rock and roll lifestyle, yeah, we certainly lived that. Whew. We travelled the world. It was like Bognor, Lyme Regis, you name it. We sang to dozens.
Okay, and not to be too indiscreet, I expect, like all rock and roll stars of that time, women were throwing themselves at you.
Yeah. There were women. I think there were women. Are they the ones with the a bit more curvy? Yeah, I think so. It's all a bit hazy, to be honest.
Okay, Rhombic, I know this might be hard for you, but could you tell us about the badger-related incident that ended your career?
What? The badger? Oh no, I couldn't tell you about the badger. Oh, still no. Cool. It came out of nowhere, the badger. I mean, nobody could have foreseen the badger. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh, right. So sorry to upset you. Obviously a very traumatic experience for you. I believe that when you were 17, you had a minor success with one of your songs, before the big hit that we all know and love. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I wrote a song called I Kicked Him in the Head. It was taken on, actually, by a small company called Rat Up a Drainpipe Records. But it didn't get very far. I reckon about 190 in the charts, because it was misunderstood, just like the rules of nature. I Kicked Him in the Head was about my teenage years, and it was a cry for help. But no one came to help me kick anything in the head, so I had to do it all myself. Yeah, you're going to play it now, right?
So here is I Kicked Him in the Head, courtesy of the now defunct Rat Up a Drainpipe record company. Now.
When I was at school, The head said I was daft, and as he took his cane out, I just stood there and laughed. And then I kicked him in the head, I kicked him in the head. I used my reinforced steel Doc Martens and I kicked him in the head. You may think that I'm stupid, but I'm worth twice a you. Cause when I saw the doctor, he said I was a mental age of 2. So I kicked him in the head, I kicked him in the head. I borrowed Maxwell steel Doc Martens and I kicked him in the head. I pulled the legs off goldfish, the wings off frogs and toads. Guess what I do to hedgehogs when I find them in the road? Yes, I kick them in the head, I kick them in the head. I use my reinforced steel Doc Martens and I kick them in the head. I really like my last school, I hate it to be moved, but the new one must be good. They said it was approved. Now I'm in this padded cell, the doctors are all fools. They said that what I did was against the Queensberry rules. Cause I kicked them in the head, I kicked them in the head. I used my reinforced steel Doc Martens and I kicked them in the groin.
Right. Interesting song. Now, we must turn to the subject of your faked death. Could you tell us about that, please, Rhombic?
Yeah, yeah, the old death thing. Well, that was my manager's idea, Billy Joe Sponge. Everyone called him Soapy. Don't know why, really. He said I wasn't going to work anymore due to the Badger incident. I'd sell more records if I died. Well, sort of stopped him stabbing me there and then by suggesting that we fake it. So we put it round. I choked on a particularly tough hamster. Dodgy doctor signed it off and that was it. I was dead. One good thing about faking your own death is you can go to your own funeral. I went in disguise, of course, dressed as a pirate, I think. Anyway, it was a great do. Everyone was there. Pinky Bombast, Rudy Gimboyd. Oh, you might remember his big hit. It wasn't me what done it, mother. Yeah, it was a good one. Elton John was there, of course. Not because I knew him, but he just likes a good funeral. The best bit was we all sang my song, The Rules of Nature, and Soapy Sponge. He actually bust in all the live animals so we could act it out, which was a bit of fun. We had a bit of trouble getting the fox in the box, not as easy as it sounds. And then, of course, hares are really fast animals, so it was really hard trying to hit it with a chair. But we got it all done in the end. It took a couple of hours, but it was all right. And I mean, the church had to be closed for a couple of weeks while they cleared out all the excrement. But other than that, a good day had by all, and a pretty successful death, if I say so myself.
Thanks for being so candid with us about that, Rhombic. I'd like to ask you now what advice you would give to young songwriters who are just starting out and thinking of writing about wildlife.
Yeah, young people, writing. Do they still sing about wildlife like we used to back in the day? I thought they were too busy with tablets. Looking at them, that is. We used to eat them. Pausing for laughter in case you'll find that amusing. Anyway, my main bit of advice, if you want to sing about wildlife, is the first thing to do is get all your ducks in a row. Another pause for laughter. Thought it was quite amusing. Perhaps not. Carry on, Rhombic. Anyway, speaking of ducks, we all know what duck rhymes with. It's luck, and it's rhymes that will give you that luck. Rhymes. Get your rhymes sorted before you start. Look, I'll demonstrate. It's obviously going to go. I've got to put this down. I'm going to grab my guitar. Hang on a second. Going to play you the first verse of the Wonder hit, and this is what it was. This is the first draft of the first verse. If you see a fox, don't put it in the cupboard. If you see a deer, don't poke it in the bottom. If you see a goat, don't grab it by its leg, 'cause these are the rules. Yeah, see? So, I mean, that's pretty good still. So I put my guitar down there. So it's still pretty good. It still could have been a hit, but I didn't feel it was quite right. So I sort of carried on working on it, honing it, as they say, for a good year. And then suddenly it occurred to me what was missing. The rhymes, you see. So that's my advice. Get the rhymes sorted. Now, if you're having trouble, tell them they can contact me, because I had 15 verses by the time I finished, so it's all there. They need to, like, they want to know what to hit a snake with. I'm your man. So I think that's answered your question. All right.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us. I really hope you can come to terms with the badger incident and perhaps write us another hit sometime. I'm told you watch this programme and that our article last week on how to build a pond in your garden had quite a good impact on you and inspired you. Could you give us a last word about that?
Yeah, it's been good talking about the old days. We always watch your programme every week, me and the other inmates. The nurses say it's better than sleeping pills. Last week I saw you tried that pond, so I asked if I could have a go. So they gave me a trowel, but I threw it at an owl. Then they gave me a fork, but I tried to stab a stalk. So eventually they gave me a spade. That was all right. So I dug it in the earth, but they came. The badgers, the giant badgers, they came. God, it was bad. It was really bad. So I had to give up. I think things might have been okay. I could write a song about the incident. But I've been trying for, nearly 40 years and I'll never get past the first line because, I'll let you into a secret. It sort of proves they're real. I can't get past it because there's no rhyme for badger. No rhyme. No rhyme for badger. There's no rhyme. Oh, what have you got there, Rhombic? Oh, sorry, nurse. I know, it's a phone. I'm not supposed to have a phone. But there's no rhyme. No rhyme for badger.
Well, there we have it. Rhombic Leatherbug. The one-hit genius marred forever by those badgers. Next week on Up Your Alley.
Up your alley.
We'll be asking, trousers, who needs 'em? I've been Percival Bangernut. Good night.